Welcome in to America's favorite Indiana Pacers / Minnesota Vikings podcast, Load the Paint box. I am your host, Jordan Hawthorne. I'm joined, as always, by co-host William Goodwin, the Bad Loser. Check out William on x.com at WillBadLose and check out the Bad Loser blog. I did the plug. Oh, check out VikingsTerritory.com. I'm doing the plugs now instead, so people will just click away now. Okay, it's gonna be all plugs, all show. Yeah, it's been not that long since we've spoken about the Vikings. We're gonna wrap up the OTA talk now that the Vikings have wrapped up the OTAs, and we're gonna talk about Josh Oliver and maybe get into some not too spicy Isaiah Rodgers takes. It's gonna be a fun show. It's gonna be a good one. Probably be quick, and thank you guys for tuning in and joining us. So, William. Let's begin. I always feel more official, more legitimate when I call you William instead of Will. One day, when I want to feel casual, I'll go with Billy. Is that fair?
Let's not go there, but I'll give you a mulligan for today.
Billy Badloose is crazy. That is a crazy nickname.
It's kind of like an outdated name.
Yes, 1,000%. But okay, so Will, as you have decided to go by for whatever reason, OTA thoughts. Why can't JJ McCarthy throw the football good? Why is he gonna suck?
Yeah, let's just put that aside. We'll let Twitter debate whether or not JJ McCarthy can throw it, 72 or 82 yards. It really doesn't matter. Probably just because he's the A topic for the next 3 months. Nobody cares about anything other than the quarterback, which is fair. Nobody really should care about anything other than a developing quarterback at this point in the summer. All reports are that things are going pretty well. I don't think, Jordan, we've really seen anything that's noteworthy that is negative about his progression. I think it's normal progression stuff. There's a lot of talk from McCarthy and O'Connell, especially about kind of letting him take calculated risks, encouraging him to take calculated risks, using this off-season program to just work on stuff, try stuff, figure out if you can fit a ball into a certain window, see how well you can layer a throw over a certain level of defense, see how much touch you need on a goal line play. All these sorts of things. It's just let's try it and see how close you are to where you need to be. And yeah, it's coach speak, it's player speak. They're going to talk positively, but for the most part, there's really nothing too concerning, nor have the media members who have been on site had anything alarming to say. Doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. Again, they're media members, they're not football scouts, but I think there's a level of confidence that McCarthy is progressing in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I don't know, because there is that coach speak and trying to dig into the coach speak. And O'Connell had a quote in one of his interviews that he's done where, he said something along the lines of like, pointing stuff out to him like, hey, you made this mistake again. Do you remember when we talked about this and kind of trying to correct that stuff? And I feel like you really could run with that and kind of make up your mind before a snap of regular season football has been played about whether or not he's going to be good or be bad. And I think the important thing is that we keep a level head and evaluate him as a player when the bullets fly. And it's legitimate bullets. It's not like, paintball guns in the preseason. It's actual, like, these games matter. Because, look, there's a good chance, even if JJ McCarthy is not that great, the Vikings make the playoffs. They probably don't win the division if he's not good or great, but they make the postseason. And we have to remember that, one, you can, improve, like, from year to year. He doesn't have to be a Hall of Famer, after his first season. But two, even if he's, like, okay, and then he's okay again, and, like, it's okay to be like, okay, yeah, this guy's not a superstar. We should probably move off of him and, make a decision. But I don't think no one should be deciding their JJ McCarthy buckets unless he's like the worst quarterback that the Vikings have seen. Like, since, I don't know, Christian Pondo. Like we should really be holding out and don't attribute team success to individual evaluation, I think is the point that I'm trying to get across. And I think that's important to remind ourselves of. But like you said, man, it's June. Like it's JJ McCarthy. He's an unknown commodity, so there's a lot of value in putting JJ McCarthy's name in your YouTube video title. I'm going to do it because it gets the clicky clicks, and we want the clicky clicks or whatever. So, I get it. We're going to play we're playing the game right now, but big picture, let's not write the kid off cuz he had maybe a rough OTAs.
I think the only concern that we will be, or the only point where we will begin to be reasonably concerned is if we're getting into August and it's not clear who the starting quarterback's going to be. I think at this point, for all intents and purposes, even the coaching staff is talking like JJ is going to be the starter. And no one said it yet, but let's just call a spade a spade. They're talking about him like not only that he's the future, but that he's the current starting quarterback. I will be concerned if it is second preseason game and O'Connell hasn't said who the starter is going to be week 1, just because for one, I think we trust O'Connell and his quarterback development, and he also wants to win games. And if for whatever reason he hasn't been able to get McCarthy ready for week 1 and he wants to win games and he's not just interested in the developmental season, if he's deciding he's going to put Sam Howell out there or Brett Rippon or Max Hosmer, who,
Heck yeah.
sidebar, people love Max Brosmer, which he's not going to play this season, so let's not talk about him. But there's that will be the point where I get concerned, is if O'Connell is like, we got to go with Howell. That will be concerning to me. We're not at that point. We're not anywhere near that point. So I'm not concerned. I think McCarthy's going to start. I think he's going to trend that way and he's going to carry on. I don't see any reason to believe why not.
Yeah, and I think that, and this is we don't have to have a conversation. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to make it very point blank, and all you have to say is yes or no. I don't need an explanation. Do you expect him to be like Pat Mahomes, Jaden Daniels were out of the gate, where it's just like an explosion of, oh my gosh, this guy's like already a top 10 quarterback, if not top 5. You know what I mean? Like, do you expect that?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm hoping that he comes in and he plays like Sam Darnold played last season, where it was like very, man, here we go, very Cousins-esque, where like, yeah, there are days where he slings the damn thing and he's got like 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, and then there are also days where it's like, why did you throw that ball to that spot where 3 defenders walk, like, and I mean, I think that the team around him will be able to work with that level of quarterback play where it's realistically probably like a top 15 guy and a lot of variance, which I think is normal in the position.
And I think maybe something to note is we're probably going to see a different type of quarterback than we did with Sam Darnold. I think maybe the knock on Darnold was maybe not the level of, I don't want to say something unfair, but he maybe wasn't as cerebral as other players. Pretty good at the line of scrimmage, but I think we can all probably agree Kirk Cousins was better at the line of scrimmage than Sam Darnold was. Sam Darnold's just ridiculous athleticism and arm strength, and playing within the system got him to where he got last season. I think we're probably going to see a more cerebral player with McCarthy, even right out of the gate. But the mistakes are probably going to come because he's a rookie and
Yep.
he underestimates the speed of a defensive back or underestimates the power of a edge rusher or whatever. There's going to be things where he's, making rookie mistakes because he was, thinking something was going to be there and it was just not there. And anyways,
I think it's gonna be the speed. I think we're gonna see him try and outrun sacks that he just can't, because he did that a lot at Michigan, and he's not Jaden Daniels, man. I mean, he is a okay athlete, but he's nothing special. I mean, he's not. His mobility is Sam Darnold-esque, where it's like He can buy
Yeah,
time if the blocks fall the right way, but he's not outrunning, you know, like I'm trying to think of a pass rusher and I just can't think of any.
Micah Parsons.
Yeah, cool. Micah Parsons. He's not outrunning him.
Yeah.
He's going to get chased
I mean,
down and tackled from behind.
he's not even gonna outrun somebody in this. I know he plays for the Vikings, but like Jonathan Allen, like even an interior defensive tackle who's got athleticism, he's gonna have a hard time outrunning.
Yeah.
Like it's just let's be clear here. McCarthy's a good athlete, and he's a better athlete than a lot of Vikings quarterbacks we've seen come through here. But I think probably like high side, we could probably hope for McCarthy and his scrambling ability to be something like Aaron Rodgers. Um, Scrambles when he needs to, gets those first downs when he needs to, but doesn't look to scramble. And truthfully, I think that's what you'd want. You wouldn't
Yeah.
want a quarterback who's going to be looking to run all the time. So the last thing I'll say on McCarthy, and then we can talk about some of the defensive guys, is his knee. The meniscus injury or whatever it was. I don't even remember what it was at this point. MCL, was it the MCL
I believe
meniscus?
so.
Um, he has been fully cleared. As of like last week, they said that like at his press conference on Friday, I believe. So that's great news. That just means the training wheels are off, and obviously there's no contact on quarterbacks in camp, but to be fully cleared middle of June, 3 more months of time to heal and get his body even stronger, that is just awesome.
Yeah.
So that was really good news to hear.
For sure. Before we jump into defense stuff, let's talk about the extension, right? Um, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is gonna sound terrible. Let me pull it up just that way I don't like misquote it or anything. I don't have big feelings about it. Like it. Cool. I like Josh Oliver. I think he has been a very good Viking so far. It's a 3-year extension. I'm sure it helps free up some money and stuff like that. But he's a solid tight end too. This is where I want to take it because I don't know if you have spicy Josh Oliver takes, but I think this puts some pressure on TJ Hawkinson. After he didn't have a stellar year coming off of the knee injury last year, he was kind of hit or miss, which again, he came off of a knee injury, so it's not, I think this puts a lot of pressure on this season for TJ Hawkinson. Like, he needs to be 1,000-yard receiving tight end and contribute in the run game and be like an every down tight end, like George Kittle and the rest of them. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some validity to that. I think depending on where this team goes and how well improvement and I mean the Vikings even drafted a tight end this year, Gavin Bartholomew, right? And who knows? I mean, he's a 7th-round pick, so let's not get too excited about a guy who might not even make the 53-man roster. But what if he surprises? He becomes your pass catching threat, and Josh Oliver kind of becomes tight end one with an emphasis on blocking. And I think we even saw last year when Hawkinson was out, Oliver made some plays in the receiving game, in the passing game. He's clearly not the pass catcher and route runner that Hawkinson is. I mean, Hawkinson's a big wide receiver basically, but in Hawkinson's contract after this season, and it would carry $12 million of dead cap. So is that something you really want to do? Who knows? If Hawkinson doesn't perform to a certain level and the Vikings have different types of needs and they want to use that money for something else, this could be, who knows? I mean, this is obviously wild speculation. But I don't think that's nothing to say that this puts pressure on TJ Hawkinson.
I agree with you. Maybe not immediately, but I'm gonna stand by what I think it adds this air of like, I don't know. I maybe ads is bad. Maybe I just wanted to talk about how there was pressure on TJ Hawkinson. My daughter just got home and is very excited to see me. So if you hear some stray child yell, so that's what it is. But I mean, last year he had what, like 220 yards, 250, 258 yards, like in all of his games. So it wasn't like he had this, crazy statistical, like, oh, he had like 700 yards, because that's not what he's built for. But he had 3 touchdowns, and I just wonder how it's gonna go.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's nothing. Not everything, but it's not nothing. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing. I mean, we're talking about this team who reinvested in the offensive line. Another note with the offensive line is because of Darisaw and Will Fry's injuries, that whole crew isn't going to be ready fully by, training camp most likely. Might not, and this is something Kevin Seifert from ESPN was saying, so I should, give him credit. But he was just commenting on the fact that on Alec Lewis's podcast, on how this new kind of 5-man offensive line that is going to be, 3/5 brand new basically. They should all be ready for week 1, but they might not be. And even if they are already ready for week 1, that might be the first time they play together in real live action because of injuries and ramp up time and all that. So I say that because having a guy like Josh Oliver to anchor the end of the line, he's a very good run blocking tight end. Have him in there to sort of solidify and have some level of continuity. I think that's just really helpful. They're clearly trying to improve the running game, and if you get off on the wrong foot and the offensive line is taking some time to gel and you don't have Josh Oliver or something, and say you traded him or whatever, let's say this contract didn't get extended and he got traded. That's obviously the opposite of what happened, but then you could be in danger of, having 3 steps back in the run game, and
Yeah.
you're in a really bad spot. So
Yeah.
I think this is probably a good investment. It's not that much money. I think it's probably a good decision for a team that's looking to continue to improve in that area.
I agree. It's 1,000% a good decision. I love the extension, and I love what you're talking about. I mean, Kevin O'Connell wants to run the damn ball. I mean, he is. I think we're about to see a Mike Zimmer-esque season from him of just like, no, we got the running back. We got, like Jordan Mason now. Like, we have Aaron Jones. We have this new O-line. We extended Oliver. Like, I said, I think it was last year it was, maybe, don't hold me to that. I think it was last season. I made a comment about how, they keep talking about how they want to run the ball, and then they make decisions that go in the opposite direction of running the ball better. Like, why would you do that? Like if you're going to say we want to run the ball, then make decisions to run the ball. Like play Josh Oliver more. Go out and sign guys that are going to run block well, and stop trotting out, so-so offensive guards and whatever, and, use CJ Hammer, whatever it is. And so I think we're going to see that this season because it seems the front office and the coaching staff are aligned in what they value. And I think that's a powerful thing, and hopefully it works out. Like you said, the offensive line not playing together, I guess like Kevin Seifert said, that's a powerful thing for them to not have that continuity. That could bite them in the hind end, and we could see a slower start when both of us last week, when we tentatively looked at the schedule, I think both of us are going to have them starting relatively hot. And so it's tough to afford a slow start, which we'll break that down more as we get closer and closer to the season, obviously. All right, next topic. Defense.
You want to talk about Isaiah Rodgers?
God, I do. Okay, so like I said...
Tell me what you think about Isaiah Rodgers, Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, Super Bowl champion Isaiah Rodgers. It's like the... and look, okay, Will asked me not to spoil anything from the basketball game because he's going to be catching up, so I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's like... what's his name? The little bald guy in the headband for OKC...
Oh, Alex Caruso.
Yeah, it's like Alex Caruso. They keep bringing up, like, Alex Caruso's got championship experience. And I was like, on a team with AD and LeBron, like, do you really think Alex Caruso is bringing the heat? Whatever, that's not the hot. So I said I had some takes. Will was like, I doubt my takes are as hot as your takes. And I was like, hang on, Will, it's June. We don't have flaming hot piping hot out of the oven, Isaiah Rodgers takes. They're okay. I'm really excited about Isaiah Rodgers. I think he's going to stout. I don't think they should replace him. I think they should let him stout. And I think he's going to be the new Duke Shelley. I think he's going to outplay his contract. He's going to win over all the fans with his little bulldog mentality, and he's going to be everybody's favorite player by the end of the season because he's going to be good. And I'm excited about that. That's the take. He's the new Duke Shelley. That's the take. Where it's like, yeah, man, look, he's not going to be an all-pro, but like he's going to be a stouting corner on a good defense, and he's going to play well. So there's the take. What are your thoughts on Isaiah Rodgers going into this season? Are you concerned about the defensive backs, and should they replace it? Where are you at?
I think it's so. I mean, it's not funny because it's what we do, and we get worried about stuff, and it's June, and we're freaking out that we don't have the depth, and we look back to last year, and they're like, oh well, we signed Shaq Griffin late, and we signed Stephon Gilmore late, so we should probably go sign somebody like Jalen Ramsey or Jair Alexander late, maybe, but for one, I don't think they're going to be paying that much money to Jair. I mean, they could, but they're probably not going to pay that type of money to him. I also think they have a lot of good players in the cornerback room. Maybe I'm just like being wishful, having wishful thinking, whatever the phrase is. But I don't know, man. I mean, obviously Byron Murphy's going to start. And Isaiah Rodgers, yes, he wasn't the starting cornerback for Philly, but he had an important role on that defense. He's a versatile defensive back, which is something that this defense needs. You've got somebody like Josh Metellus, who we'll get to his contract situation in a minute, but depending on how things shake out in the safety room, Metellus could play, some hybrid role like he always does. And then you got tons of other guys. Dwight McGlothern, affectionately known as Nudie. Mekhi Blackman. They got the couple undrafted rookies who are kind of raising eyebrows. I don't think it's as bare of a chest as people, or as a bare of a cupboard as people might think. Yeah, maybe they need another body, because what did Mike Zimmer always say? You can never have too many corners. But I don't know, man. I look at that room and like, yeah, they don't have all these like surefire lockdowns, but I think they believe they can get something out of Jeff Okudah. And I think they believe they can get something out of Isaiah Rodgers. And I think they believe in the development of McGlothern and Blackman. And so I think they're in a good spot. Would I be mad if they went and got a experienced, vet who can just make it even all the more secure? No. But do we need to go, pine at the feet of Jair Alexander and Jalen Ramsey and possibly overpay for somebody who could be a locker room cancer? I don't know. Not necessarily. I guess I'm not as worried about it as other people might be.
They should 1,000%. I forgot Jair Alexander got cut. They should 1,000% sign Jair Alexander. That makes too much sense, right? I mean, like, Packers cut him, revenge season. He comes in, you give him a 1-year contract. He'll come over here cheap just to prove a point, and then he can go have real free agency next year. Like, I don't, and who knows? Maybe he comes in and I'm not gonna say he's gonna change. Look, he's Jair Alexander. Okay, I hate him more than any player in the league, but like. Yeah, man. I mean, I hated Brett Favre when I was a kid, and he did some stuff. And look, I get it. It's different. A corner is not going to have the same impact that a QB does. But yeah, I mean, they should 1,000% sign him. It just seems like a no doubt or no bueno to me. So,
I do agree though that Isaiah Rodgers is. I mean, especially when you got somebody like Brian Flores advocating for you, and sort of pounding the table for you, as a guy that he said he was like. I don't remember the exact words, but like basically wanted him out of college. Like this is a guy that he's been tracking ever since Isaiah Rodgers was in the draft out of UMass. I mean, this is a guy that has no college pedigree, and Brian Flores has sort of always wanted him. So that says a lot. The other thing about Isaiah Rodgers is I didn't even realize this, but guys are from teammates to coaches alike are all just marveling at how fast he is. And I guess he also has. This is not something that I did a ton of research on, but has some return game capability. And so guys like him, Rondale Moore, who knows who else? I mean, Ty Chandler's still back there. Who knows? But potential kick, punt return guys. That's something to get a little bit excited about, just because the Vikings haven't had a good returner. It feels like in the punt game since Marcus Sherrills,
Yeah.
and it would be awesome if they could have a guy who could, break one once in a while.
I feel like
Brandon Powell was fine, but it was always like 3 yards.
Yeah, I feel like Rondale Moore is gonna do nothing. Like it's gonna be like Halvin in Seattle. He's gonna do nothing all season for the Vikings, and then he's just gonna like take a kickback in a Super Bowl or something. And everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot he even played for the Vikings." Because again, you said Rondale Moore. And this is my new favorite tradition of doing shows. You say his name, and I immediately go, I forgot he played for the Vikings. Like such a weird, I forget he exists because he was out all last season. And if you go 1 year not playing in the NFL, you are tired in my book. You might as well be a UPS driver because I don't remember you, unless your name's like Jim Kleinsall. Those are like the only guys. And so I don't know. I agree with you. Some of the return capabilities definitely going to be an impact. But see, now I'm ready to just do a whole show about Jair Alexander and how I want him in here and his squeaky voice and all that stuff. But I don't know. It's an interesting topic maybe to discuss another day if he drags his feet on making a decision on where he wants to go, which I'm sure he will because that seems textbook for him, doesn't it? No, I'm not going to make a decision. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to skip most of training camp. I'll show up 3 days before the regular season starts and tell me who I'm manning up, Can I go do the coin toss, coach? I would really like to, no, too bad. I'm going to, that kind of stuff. So, and I just think it would be funny. He needs to be here for training camp. You can cut him after training camp. I don't even care. I just want him and JJ going at it in training camp every day for a month. Just that way I can watch JJ get into a legitimate fist fight on the field. It would toughen him up, it'd bring the mental toughness. All right, I'm going to do final thoughts. Is that are we all cool with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're thinking for final thoughts, but any just quick track, not an extension at this point.
We're having some laggy audio issues, but I know that you asked me if I had any thoughts on the Metellus contract. So let's do the Metellus contract really quick, because I forgot that we wanted to touch on that. I really don't have that many takes about it, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm just gonna let you take this over, and then I'll do my final thoughts and pass it back to you for final thoughts, if that's cool. Whoa, I don't like that at all.
But what's that?
Okay, do everything you just said again. It all hit at once, and it went the sound that the alien makes in Alien vs. Predator, like that platypus noise or whatever. It just made that sound.
Lovely.
And then went out. So we got all of that take in less than a second. So if you could please go again.
Yes. We'll start over. Josh Metellus, fan favorite of this show, favorite Minnesota Timberwolves fan, elite tweeter from courtside at Target Center. We love Josh Metellus. He's been fantastic. He won Media Good Guy of the Year last year. He's a great locker room presence. The Tell Us with Metellus stuff is goofy, and he's a super valuable player for this team. He is in the final year of his contract. He got a contract extension before last season, maybe the season before. This is the final year of that extension, and he is not holding out or doing anything ridiculous. He was not a full participant in all, full speed drills at off-season stuff because, when you're negotiating a contract extension, you don't want to get hurt and then screw the pooch and have no chance at making that money. all intents and purposes, the Vikings want to extend him. He wants to stay here. It's probably just a matter of T's and C's. I don't have any intel on that, but he is not, extended at this point. You would hope. I mean, I guess I would say I would hope he gets extended. I think you already lost Cam Bynum. Harrison Smith's probably retiring pretty soon. I mean, at some point the guy's got to stop. Yes, I think we all like Theo Jackson. I think we have hope for Jay Ward, but if it's not Metellus keeping that crew together starting maybe next season, I mean, that could go from one of the best strengths on the team to the weakness very quickly. So I don't know. I'd like to see the guy extended. I think he's proved his worth, and let's make it happen. I think that's to me. It seems like a simple decision. Obviously, the terms, the money, all that, not something we're privy to. But
Will,
I think
don't you
to me,
know
it's
that
pretty
the
simple.
analytics say that the safety position is one of the least valuable in all of professional football? Don't you know, William,
Yes,
that's what the analytics say?
I have heard that, except for when you see guys run straight past safeties, a la Jamison Williams,
Until I
and
watched
there's
Cam
nobody
Bynum
there.
for 2 games this season, but like the identical cutback runs by Jameer Gibbs. Well, Cam Bynum, last line of defense, is like his ankles are going left and everything else is going right, and he's sideways while Jameer Gibbs is already, running to the end zone on a big run to break our backs. I mean, but, we should have paid Cam Bynum. No, he can't, he couldn't stop the run. Maybe it was just those 2 plays. I really don't know what the PFF grade said about him. That was enough to disqualify him. Let me get my final thoughts quickly because my daughter's excited. She's been playing her xylophone. Sorry if you guys heard that. My final thoughts are going to be pretty quick. They're just going to be, and look, and again, no spoilers on what's happening whenever this comes out, what has happened in the Pacers game. And I don't want to give an in memoriam for the Pacers by any means. We all know they're capable of amazing things no matter how big or small they're down. They're also apparently capable of losing games that they're up like 10 in the fourth quarter. They can do it that way too. Should be 3-1, but what are we doing? Anyway, I've been a Pacers fan for like 16 years, and then the last like 2-3 months. And let me just say, because I just, they're the Pacers. Like, okay, yeah, they're probably going to make the playoffs. They'll flame out. They're losing round 1, whatever. Like, they're not. It's pretty cool to have a team that is so close geographically to me be doing so well. The closest thing I can equate it to would be the Bengals Super Bowl run, but even then that's different because like all my friends are like football Bengal fans, whatever. So it's like, for me, because I didn't care about the Bengals, like, cool, whatever. Like, I hope they lose because I don't want you guys to win a Super Bowl before my team does. It's almost like when the Reds were good back in like the early 2010s, and that was a special time for me watching the Reds and expecting them to win, and then they made the playoffs, and I got to go to a playoff game. It's just a cool, experience, and it's something cool. And I love the Vikings, and the Vikings have had many good seasons throughout my life, but like, there's no vibe when the Vikings are having a magic season because I'm in Cincinnati. So the vibe is just, I'm kind of the cool kid on campus where every time I see somebody on a Monday after the Vikings win, they're like, "You're the Vikings fan and they won last night. How happy are you?" It's almost like, it's like degrading. It's patronizing almost, So, I'm sure there are some people that listen to this show that I'm sure, you like a team that's from far, far away, and you get the same experience. So if you know what I'm talking about, you'll relate to that. This has been a really cool experience for me. I always loved the NBA playoffs, but the Pacers doing this has kind of taken it to another level. I had a finals watch party on Friday night. I had friends over, and we drank beers and watched basketball. Insane. Like, I'm texting people about the NBA Finals. I never do that. I just watch them, and I'm like, oh, that's neat, and then I go to bed. Like, I'm, like, staying up late to text with people about the Halibam. Like, it's just incredible, man. It's just the best. Oh, also, I don't know if I've told you this. I'll update you now live on the show. They're calling Shago, whatever, SGA. They're calling him Al-Shaida, and I love that. Like, it's the Halaban versus Al-Shaida, or Al-Shaida, whatever. Like, just incredible marketing by the trolls of Instagram coming up with these names. And then AI has done wonders with these memes as well. So thank you to all of the AI meme makers. Subscribe to the show if you're not already. Follow the show at LTB Vikings. Follow him. That's Billy Badloos at Will Badloos on X.com. And check out Vikings Territory. I told you it was all plugs, baby. I'm going to mute my mic and listen to my daughter serenade me with her xylophone, and I'll let Will take us home.
My final thought is training camps in like 5 weeks, so feel free to tune out from the Vikings if you want. It's okay. We'll probably be off ourselves for a little bit here. So I'm not even gonna have a Vikings final thought because we got June 20th or July 20th to worry about when training camp actually gets going. Surprise, quick update on our friend Isaiah who has cancer. So he's still working through his chemo, still going through all that, but I just wanted to plug a really fun story that I heard from his dad. So Isaiah has an older sister, Maddie, and he also has a little sister, Ezra. And Ezra, he's 3. His dad wanted to give him a haircut for summer. And he asked him, like, Ezra, like, can I give you a haircut? Like, let's do something fun. His dad was thinking like a mohawk or something, like, hey, it's summer, like, let's let loose a little bit. And Ezra, big grin on his face, looks at his dad and said, I want hair like Isaiah. And if you know how cancer works, typically the chemo kills your hair and you lose all your hair. And so Isaiah's been, bald for the last few months. And now his little 3-year-old brother is walking around with a shaved head to because he wants to be like his brother. So just wanted to share that as a fun, uplifting story amidst that whole painful saga that family is enduring. And yeah, it's a gift to endure it with them. So that's all for us Vikings fans, Pacers fans alike. This has been fun. I really hope the next time we talk, Jordan, we have an Indiana Pacers championship to get excited about.
If they win, we're doing a load the paint, right? Like, we have to do a load the paint.
We have to. And I mean, heck, Indiana has become the center of the basketball universe. Caitlin Clark is back and just chucking up 35-footers, and it's just magic inside Gainbridge.
In 49 states, it's just basketball. But this is Indiana. Like, the amount of times I've had that play in my ears, that's what they say every game. It's like, play like a champion today. That's like it's like, yeah, man, it's kind of true. I mean, like, it's 49 states, it's just basketball. This is Indiana. I say from Ohio.
But hey, I mean, like, just like being truthfully honest, you live closer to Indianapolis than I grew up from Minneapolis. And so, like, for people who are like, oh, that's kind of silly, like, whatever, dude, like, you don't even live in Indiana. Jordan lives less than 2 hours from Indianapolis. I grew up more than 2 hours away from Minneapolis. And so, I mean, I was a Twins fan, I was a Timberwolves fan, I was a Vikings fan. It's totally plausible that Jordan is
geographically they are my team. I mean, like, there's no question about that.
Yeah, and you're closer to Indianapolis than you are to Cleveland. And so, naturally, you would cheer for the Pacers.
And my dad met Dwight Freeney in the parking lot of a Pacers game. Not the night, but the week before they won the Super Bowl against the Chicago Bears. My dad got to wish, I think it was Dwight Freeney, wished him good luck in the game because we just happened to be in the same garage as them. And my dad was like, oh my God, like, good luck, please beat them. Like, we need it. And showing up, they went out. And it's all because Jeff Hawthorne told Dwight Freeney good luck. If he didn't do that, Bears have 2 championships right now.
They still don't have a 4,000-yard passer. That's all, folks. Let's go, y'all.